The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
You know, we have Tom from Tampa on the phone. Hey, Tom. Good morning. It's bright and early now, huh?
Hey, Paige. Good. How you guys doing, Nico?
Doing great.
Good. Hey, your newsletter's outstanding, man. I'm telling you, man, it is outstanding. And so is the Primal Edge. I love that stuff. I'd never be without it. I mean, I've been on it now 3-4 months, man. I mean, it's just, I can't get over how good I feel.
Primal Edge is, people are raving about it. People who are trying it, they know because you can feel it.
Would not be without it.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now your hosts, Nico and Haan and Paige Clarke.
Good morning. I'm Nico and Haan. Welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced, natural, wild world.
And that's right, Nico, to recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. Good morning. I'm Paige Clarke.
And it's a beautiful morning in downtown Clearwater. It's 71 degrees, a little foggy, a little misty. It's humid.
Hopefully this will be day 4 of no geoengineering spraying. I mean, the skies have been so clear.
Yeah, they sure have.
Very nice.
It's been beautiful.
And make sure you pick up our Health Signals newsletter. We have a new one, hot off the press. Starts out with a nice article on organic and conventional coffee.
Yeah, also has a great article in there about the electricity stuff that's all going on all around us. Really extensive, dives real deep into what actually is going on. Recommended highly.
Yeah, we've been talking a lot about EMFs, and we're going to have some guests on that can share more information on how you can protect yourself from non-native EMFs.
And the other thing, of course, pick up our Primal Edge, $89, brings it to your door every month, and this is the best thing you can do to stay healthy, folks. Over 310 cell-ready organic ingredients, all in liquid form, which makes it easy, and it's powered by humic and fulvic acid to get good stuff in.
And the bad stuff out.
That's right, Paige.
And if you're up and at it, give us a call, 877-927-6648.
Okay.
Nico, what are we talking about today?
Well, I wanted to bring everybody up to speed of what's happening with the weather. Of course, we know a lot of cold, a lot of hot, a lot of things happening. There's a research group here that says global warming pause may last for 20 more years. So they're actually saying that the increase or the pause started about 17 years ago, which is about 2001, 2002 area. And that's what most of the scientists
Well, this kind of looks like, to me, like the creators of the global warming story are realizing that the evidence is not supporting their case.
And that could be.
So they're
creating this pause.
They're creating a pause since that's a generation. 20 years is kind of a generation. You can usually cover things up. So it sounds like they feel that they're trying to make that transition where we know we're really entering a global cooling.
Well, here's kind of a graph that they put up. And they're saying, of course, this was the hockey stick scenario here, and what's actually happening.
If they can see the title of this, it says the graph that makes a mockery of warming.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of things out like this. I just wanted to bring it to your attention. The research comes amid mounting evidence that the computer models on which the IPCC based their gloomy forecast of rapid warming planet is not really happening, and that we have been into this grand maximum for quite a while.
So let's just make sure that everyone's following us when you say we are leaving a global warming period. It's kind of on the...
Yeah.
We're leaving that, and we're entering, as we know from David Dubine and Adapt 2030, we're entering a grand solar minimum where we're going to see cooling overall.
Yeah. And here gives you an instant... I reference. There's 485 scientific papers published in 2017 that undermine the supposed consensus on the global warming type of thing. So this is 485, this one reporter, which his name is Kenneth Richards. He found that during 2017, all these papers were basically ignored.
Somebody needs to have Al Gore tune into that.
Yeah, well, it is a money-making scheme. We're trading things, so companies that have a lot of pollution and have the money can kind of buy these credits and give it to other companies.
Well, it's about control too, Nico. I was listening to the SGT report this morning. He gets those out really early. That's a great report. If you guys don't listen to it on YouTube, SGT report. And I can't remember the name of the meeting, but it was a globalist type of meeting that happened many, many years ago that really all of the global warming situation, the the water shortage, all of this is manufactured to create taxation and control the people. So.
Here's another article about sunspot activity being a factor in influenza, so the flu epidemic.
So what we could really suggest is that perhaps when you say sunspot activity, in this global cooling time, we're having lower sun activity.
Yeah, what it seems to be happening is with the 1908 flu epidemic, that was during a minimum, sun minimum.
Right.
And most of these epidemics go along the minimums. So when
Makes sense, doesn't it, Nico?
It does, because we got a lot more cosmic rays. We got a lot of problems with that. In fact, we had some problems over the last weekend and before with lots of CMEs coming here, and I could feel it. I mean, had restless night's sleep, and as soon as that was over, it really seemed to affect me. I don't know because I'm looking at this stuff or not. I don't know. Because I'm going and looking at all this stuff.
Well,
anyway,
I feel the same way when I look out and see the spraying. So
right.
How do these things combine? It's very interesting because someone that I really respect locally, he's my friend Howard. He is a photographer. He's an artist and a researcher, and he's an ex-Army surveillance officer. So he knows what's going on, and he has the position that he has thought maybe they're trying to cool the world, that they're trying to help us and cool things down, because otherwise, if they weren't spraying, we'd be burning up because of the sun's activity.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, one of the scientists are also saying that they'd never even considered that when you cloud up the atmosphere, that the sun gets reflected back out into space, and we don't get the warmth. So if they're spraying this stuff there, trying to warm trying to get rid of the warmth, they're doing it the right way. But is it the right thing to do?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's another one that says the U.S. flu since 1909 has been the worst. So this, they say, is up to the standards of the epidemic that was at the turn of the century of the 1900s. One thing, though, we have a heck of a lot more people.
We have a heck of a lot more people. That's exactly right. And I think now we also have a lot more knowledge, and we know the importance of trying to find that sun when it isn't being covered up by spraying. Try and find that sun and build your own vitamin D, because vitamin D prevents over 150 diseases, and I'll go so far as to say pandemics.
Yeah.
Maybe people didn't realize that, during the crazy plague and so forth.
Yeah, and the reason I bring this all up, folks, is, of course, I want you to be prepared and informed, but also I want you to realize that when the sun does go into a minimum, it's really not good for our health, and this is when most of the problems come up. So this is even more incentive to get your act together and start eating a healthy diet, and also do all those other things around your environment to get rid of these toxins, to get rid of the electricity and things like that. So, take your time, take a step at a time. We have time left. Some people think that the minimum is going to start at 2050. Some people say 2020. All signs to me, and when I listen to Adapt 2030 and the Suspicious Observer, it all points down that this minimum that we're starting is kind of the beginning of the super minimum.
Yeah, we're super in the beginning, which means we have many years. Here's an article: the sun will get unusually cold by 2050. Let's continue.
Yep.
We'll be right back. We got to take a short break. Stick with us.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated folic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
As I said right before we left, the sun will get unusually cold by 2050 and might trigger a mini ice age. And it's interesting, this article in IBT Times India says, remember the 1989 science fiction novel, The Dying Sun? It was written by Gary Blackwood, where people were forced to migrate from the U.S. to Mexico because of the freezing weather that was triggered by cooling down of the sun. Scientists are now afraid that such a situation can occur. As we see, there's 485 research papers that say that the story that we've been told and sold is not the case.
So I can see Mexico now paying for that wall.
Maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's a flipped over side, you know? So, yeah, this is very interesting stuff, guys.
It's studied by the University of California, San Diego. And this goes along with the consensus.
The sun's expected to be cool, guys.
Well, I was listening to John Casey, a lot of his archive stuff. He's not feeling too well these days, but he's a great guy. And he was saying by 2050 it's going to fall off a cliff. And so does Rolf, a bunch of these researchers, are saying that we're going into this mini kind of where the sun is going to sleep, and after that ends, it could go down further even. So this is kind of what this article is saying. But again, the reason I bring all this stuff up this page is because of our diet. So let's go back and look at this article that I found that says, where the heck is it? Can the Western diet permanently alter our immune system?
Well, and there you go. I think this picture, Nico, if you can zoom in, I don't know if it shows up on the telestrator, but it's actually, I'll share it with you. You know, when you take a look at the American diet, I don't know if you guys can see that from here, but you just look at all these products, the French fries, the pizza, the fried, the vegetable oil, fried onions, the hamburger, the bread. The American diet has certainly contributed to a loss of immune vitality.
Yeah, the immune system's response to the Western diet is similar to how it reacts to infection by dangerous bacteria, according to the new research, University of Bonn in Germany. It was published in a journal called Cell.
So another disturbing result of this same study, folks, is that in the longer term, a Western diet can make the immune system become hyper-responsive to inflammatory triggers. So again, basically, what is that saying? The immune system stays on guard. It says, I don't know what this stuff is you're bringing down the chute, but it isn't good for me, and I'm going to stay inflamed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long-term changes may contribute to type 2 diabetes. Of course, we see that.
Atherosclerosis?
We see that too, and several other conditions wherein inflammation is thought to play a huge part, and it's been linked to the consumption of the Western diet. For the study, the researchers fed the mice, and of course this was done on mice, and they have a very short lifespan. So what they're saying here in this article is that we're going to be damaged so badly if you're on this for a while, you may not be able to come back.
Well, that's Pottinger's cats.
That's right.
Dr. Francis Pottinger showed that after 5 generations, the cats really were sterile, and we already know that close to 40% of young people today are infertile.
Well, certainly the fertility clinics are doing a bang-up business, and that really proves that, doesn't it? The other thing is, too, that human beings have a much longer lifespan, much more complicated immune system. So I think our chances of coming back out of the abyss if you've been eating fast food, and I'm not sure, do you know anybody that eats strictly fast food? I don't
know anyone, and I'm thankful to say that I don't think anyone in my family. Maybe there's a couple people that hit it
when I say
every
fast
once in a
food,
while.
it's not just that. It's also this microwave stuff and the ready-to-eat meals.
You can have fast food at home, that's right.
Yeah, so, and I do know a couple of people that are on that, and one of them is my age, and his health has been going downhill, and you can really see the contrast in the last 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
So, you know, this is really important. The Western diet alters gene expression. After just 1 month, the mice showed changes throughout their bodies that are similar to a strong inflammation reaction that occurs with bacterial infections.
Well, folks, the Western diet does alter our gene expression because, as we've told you all, it is not. Our genes do not control our destiny. Our genes are a blueprint, and our choices and our environment and what we use, what we choose to eat and breathe and think and drink and live in, these are the things that our genes say, well, whoa, I can't handle that. I'm going to have to turn off this switch.
Yeah. There's a lot of things happening, that's for sure.
So it is important. I think really what we want to know is that can a healthful diet, help us? And this article goes into a little farther. This is very interesting. It says a healthful diet did not reverse the gene activation. So what that's really saying is that for many people, must be a point of no return.
Yeah, and they really dug deep in this because they took the bone marrow from the mice. And, remember, this is where the stem cells are. This is where the stem cells are made. And the stem cells are your prolonged history, and your future history, in a sense, are laid in there. So if your stem cells are bad, you're really in tough shape.
Yeah, it said that the acute inflammation quelled after 4 weeks when they reintroduced a more healthful diet. But they did say after they were placed on their normal cereal diet.
Yeah,
and
I know.
What mouse is normally eating cereal?
Well, they eat seeds and things like that, but cereal is manufactured from those things.
Right.
So,
right.
Why not just feed them the raw stuff?
But what the researchers found was switching to this more healthful diet, so to speak, it failed to reduce the fundamental alterations in the innate immune system or the way the immune system had responded.
Yeah.
The genes that were switching on different functions. So that's really important.
So I think just like you do, if they fed the mice, the natural healthy food, that's, remember mice are there because we're there. They're in our territory. They're not these wild mice that are out in the bush. These are domesticated mice, so they're a completely different animal. And probably that also has something to do because they're living in our neighborhood, which is unhealthy with all the unhealthy things that we always talk about. They're there too, even though they're in the experiment.
And actually, this is a very interesting, just to summarize this part, it says that, the immune system sees a bacteria as a pathogen and puts up a response. But this is the interesting thing. Our immune systems do the exact same thing with a Western diet, not with a healthful diet, but the Western diet being a foreign. The immune system sees those foods as foreign invaders, and it seems that it triggers an inflammatory response, and the immune system consequently reacts even to small stimuli with stronger and stronger inflammatory responses. So having a Western diet and then having that occasional binge might actually just cause flare-ups, is what I'm getting from that.
It has only recently been discovered, says this professor, that the innate immune system has some form of memory, and it's going to hang on to something if it's been there a while.
That's what so many of our responses are. They are cellular memory. And it says here, I like to, in closing, since we've got a break coming on, children have a choice of what they eat every day. We should enable them to make conscious decisions regarding their dietary habits. And as we now see, the diet that many people today, the Western diet, the SAD diet, is having devastating effects on our immune health. Let's catch it early and make a difference.
Yeah, and the other thing is, too, of course, if you're parents and you have your children, you can point them in the right direction, and that means a lot.
Guardians.
That's right.
Guardians of the immune system.
Stick around, folks. The number here is 877-927-6648, and we shall be right back.
See?
We'd like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
It's a special month at TFNN, and with market volatility back, we've decided to hold an open house in our Tiger's Den. For this month only, you can get a full 30 days of Tiger's Den membership without paying anything. The Tiger's Den is our interactive chat room where you can chat with other tigers and tigresses along with the TFNN hosts during each of their programs. For all of the details and to start your 30-day free trial to the Tiger's Den today, visit the front page of TFNN.com before this deal is gone.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back to the show. So I thought, since we're talking about the diet and everything that related to the sunspots and our weather, I thought we'd go, what do we consider a diet? And let's just go out in the mainstream and see what they say.
Isn't it funny? How is it real or Memorex? I said, in other words, is it really healthy? Or I mean, the things that people think are healthy, like I was at this restaurant next door, and she was like, we have a really healthy new breakfast. It's got quinoa and seeds, and it's all egg white. And I'm like, give me my yolks. You know?
That's right. So that's the thing, is what's better? When egg yolks were unfairly shunned for being high in cholesterol, egg whites...
They reigned. Yeah, people were saying...
And people still are doing that.
Yeah, they still think that the egg white is the healthier choice, and all the nutrition, guy, is packed in that egg yolk. So you could just do the opposite of what some of these talking pundits would tell you.
Yeah, the one on the right is the one I'd be eating.
Yeah, you eat the egg whites.
Yeah.
I mean, the egg yolks. Yeah, eat the egg yolks.
And the combination, too, is kind of a perfect food. The trouble with the whites is hard to digest, especially without the fat.
That's exactly right. And actually, you know, not having the egg whites properly cooked or whatever, it can interfere. There's an enzyme that interferes with your biotin, which is an important B vitamin.
Yeah, so cook the whites up really good, but don't...
eat your whole egg, but definitely eat that yolk.
Yeah, and the yolk you want kind of runny.
Yeah. Well, you prefer, you know, I told you this friend of mine that I'm working with wants me to have shakes with raw egg. You know, with the raw yolk especially.
I like that.
So next, skim or whole milk. And since milk is so important in a child's diet, this is a contentious debate with experts on both sides. Well, I'm going to tell you that I believe that real milk is a health food. But
That's
real
for sure.
milk is not what you can find in any stores, folks. You got to get back to the farmers.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's
and you
true.
got to get the raw milk. It's not organic milk. That's not good enough, folks.
Yeah.
You got to find raw, unpasteurized, whatever it is, pet consumption milk.
That's right. And the other way to do it, of course, is go to Europe and have the different kind of cow milk, the type 2
The
cow.
A2, which we
A2.
promised we'll do a talk on that. I'll work on that.
Yeah.
You know, there's different breeds that we digest better. Goat's milk is an A2 milk naturally. Camel's milk
And
is.
the reason that people brought the A1s over here, they breed a lot faster, they're easier to milk, they have much more milk, and they get fatter. That's the reason, not for health concerns.
Well, and this real question was skim or whole milk. Okay, first of all, we're going to tell you to get it from a farmer. You want the whole fat milk. And as Nico and I have shared with all of you, skim milk is what they use to fatten up pigs.
Along with cereal.
Along with cereal, yeah.
The perfect storm.
Yeah, perfect storm. So get your whole milk and find a farmer, find a dairy cow, share, whatever you need to do to get the real milk unprocessed.
Yeah. Next on the list is peanut butter. Reduced fat or natural? Well, I would contend neither.
Yeah.
First of all, these peanuts are not actually nuts, they're legumes, so they're in the bean family. And as you know, beans need to be soaked and soaked and soaked. They need to be sprouted.
And why is that, Nico? Because they have
phytates and anti-nutrients.
and enzyme inhibitors.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't stay seeds. They'd start growing and sprouting. And so these enzyme inhibitors take over in our guts and create all kinds of havoc.
Yeah, so I'd say ditch the peanut butter altogether. I know people love it, but there are alternatives, folks. Next one on the list is non-fat or whole milk yogurt. Well,
And
this
boy,
is kind of the
Nico,
same as milk.
try to find a whole fat yogurt in your store. Almost everything, you look at a wall and it all says no fat or low fat, and that's just horrible. Most of these commercial yogurts are laden with sugars and additives and artificial colors, but I think that getting some kefir grains, again, working with your own natural
Learn how to
dairy
do it.
farmer, it's so easy.
Yeah.
Just make the grains and make your own kefir.
Usually in some community, you'll find somebody from the old country that's making the yogurt the right way. And here in the Clearwater area, we have Yanni.
Oh, yes.
And he owns a little restaurant. Unfortunately, I don't go there anymore because his breakfasts are delicious, but they're all carbs, unless you just get
Is he
eggs
on
or something
Highland?
like that. Yeah, he's on Highland in the public shopping center now, and he's been around for years, and he still makes that great yogurt from the original culture that he brought over from Hungary years ago.
Wow, I
Isn't
didn't
that something?
realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the place to go around here. You have to do some digging where you are, but usually you can find somebody that does that.
Well, we have a lot of people that are using European kefir grains and are making kefir, and I actually prefer a kefir over yogurt. But here's another one. A lot of people think they're healthier when they order brown rice.
Yeah, of course.
Brown rice or white rice? Oh, give me the brown rice. Give me the whole grain rice. Okay, so go ahead. You're the expert on that,
Well,
Nico.
we know that the Chinese 5,000 years ago knew that the white rice was much healthier, and that's why the white rice is there. It's a food extender. They were running out of meat, so they wanted to extend the food with something that would give the flavor of what you're missing. So you have a little bit of meat, you have a lot of rice, you mix it together, you still have the flavor, you still have some calories so you can live, which is really important. You may not be the healthiest, but you're going through tough times.
It's interesting that this article says opt for the brown rice, but you would always say opt for the white rice because the Chinese knew that the brown rice was, again, harder on digestion. And, you know, we see a lot of that. We see some people that are using, I call it rice as a filler because they don't eat meats, really. Many of the vegetarians or vegans. And over time, many of these people do suffer digestive issues because of the phytates in the beans and so forth that they're relying on to make complete proteins. Here's another one. Hey, you go out to breakfast and you say, would you like bacon or would you like turkey bacon?
Yes.
And what do most people say?
And they also make chicken sausages and turkey sausages. Boy, you know, and a lot of times I'll have a tough time trying to find
tofu sausages.
Tofu, even worse. Yeah,
Right.
It's all bad. It says cooked slices of bacon have more calories and more fat than their poultry counterpart, but not by much. Pork has 87 and 7 grams of fat, and turkey has 70 grams with 5 grams of fat. So not much difference.
But again, this article that we're kind of using is basing it, you know, on kind of mainstream think tank. But we might, you know, say that either one of them, it's really kind of a non-issue, but not to be worried about.
I don't think so. I really think that turkey is just a butchered meat that is not very good. We've overbred these. We have these huge turkeys. If you've ever seen a wild turkey, they really don't resemble the captive ones. I would say go for the pork because we know that pork, and this has been proven over, lard is one of the greatest saturated fats and cholesterol machines that we need in our body. So I save all my bacon grease and I use that as flavoring in lots of things in my soups and of course for breakfast, but I use it a lot. So in my refrigerator you're going to find a few jars of that drippings.
And you've got that flavor. Very good. Right. How about this, guys? Whole wheat or regular pasta or gluten-free. I mean, you know, again, remember, so much of this stuff, again, it's a processed food. And if it says 100% whole wheat or whole grain, you know, those are marketing terms. And the word whole grain is not necessarily a whole food, guys.
Well, not only that, it probably has all the bad stuff in it that you don't want. So probably the original pasta is going to be much better because they've already moved the hull and everything like that. You're not going to eat a pecan and grind up the outer shell and include that as a pecan. You're going to take the shell off, you're going to take the little brown skin off, and you're going to eat the pecan because that's much healthier. And that's the same thing with these foods.
And so again, folks, you know, this we could go on. Remember, if it's low or high, yeah, you know, we'll come back. Are we going to finish a couple of those things?
Yeah.
Got to take a short break. Be right back with you.
Yeah, and pick up some Primal Edge while you're out there, folks.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, oil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum,
copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We have a caller on the line, Tom from Tampa. So let's go with Tom right now. And
Uh-oh, did we lose him? Maybe he'll call back in.
Hey, I got you. Can you hear me?
there you are.
Tom, how's it going?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing great. What's up?
Morning.
Good, man. Hey, take a look at collagen, the benefits of it. Basically, we get that out of bone broth, right? Is that what is that where we're getting it at?
Well, you know, if we were living a true primal lifestyle, we'd get it out of the organ meats and the animals that we would be eating today. That it really is a great call, Tom, based on what we were just covering. You know, as Nico and I have shared, we often eat the lean cuts or the white meat of animals, and
right.
we discard the fatty pieces, the collagenous rich pieces, the organs, the connective tissue, the skin. Oh, don't eat the skin on the chicken. There's lots of collagen in the skin. The skin, the scales on a fish, very rich in collagen.
Collagen is like a barrier between different parts of the body. It's kind of like between the fat and the protein. What holds it all together would be the collagen. So
Yeah, collagen is exactly that. It's the tissue that holds everything together.
Yeah.
We don't get enough collagen in the meats we're eating. That's why we've seen this. The bone broth, you know, when you make the bone broth, there's a lot of collagen in the results from that. So we like to
Good
suggest
for inflammation, the joints.
Oh yeah. And you know, if people are
Yeah.
going to be living with a protein shake or something, I carry in my office different brands of collagen. I even have a marine fish collagen because that's actually the highest content. Fish, chicken. Beef collagen or gelatin or whatever. If you're going to use an alternative protein source other than something that you're chewing, Tom, collagen is a great thing to fill in because it really does help us keep healthy joints, skin, and bones.
When I take a protein shake, I'll add it to that. When I make soups, I'll add collagen in there. Every chance I get that's something liquid, I'm going to add collagen to it because you're right. That's exactly what we need, Tom.
Hey, one other thing.
Yep.
I'm noticing a lot of these, you're hearing a lot about knee replacements. And, you know, the big problem with these knee replacements, I mean, you got like 8 weeks of downtime. You know, they can say what they want. But, you know, this stem cell therapy is replacing, it's really breaking out on these. I mean, you're in and out of there an hour and a half. You're back to work the same day.
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's
it's
true.
It's amazing, man.
This is the medicine of the
Brian
future.
would say it's a beautiful thing.
Well, hey, yeah, exactly. And Tom, that's a funny story. But you know, Dr. Wallach from Dead Doctors Don't Lie always told the story about how Harvard was testing a new drug, and they had like 100 people that were slated for knee replacement surgery, and they put them on the new drug, and amazingly, only 10% of them still needed the surgery. 90% of them recovered. Do you know what that drug was?
What's that?
chicken collagen.
Wow.
They
Wow.
couldn't patent it, but they did do the study. So for a lot of people, maybe some stem cells and some
Amazing.
collagen would do a body good.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Tom. Really appreciate it.
Okay, man. All right, you guys are doing a great job. Have a good day now.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, that's really something. We do discard a lot of things that are really good for us, and because of the low-fat craze, this has really damaged our minds in a sense,
Oh, sure.
as a whole community, because we're still reaching for the low-fat. We're still reaching for something that isn't healthy, and this was all because of the advertising of the low-fat foods, and it's still there. And it's just it's amazing because we have difficulty even communicating what is healthy and what isn't, because we have all these commercials. But in Florida, we have a law that really says that you can't do this unless you have a specific license.
Oh, well, Florida, yeah, exactly. Here's, I'm in Florida, but this is kind of at a glance. The Florida Department of Health issued a cease and desist letter and a $754 fine to a holistic health coach for sharing nutritional advice without a license. And she filed a lawsuit against the Department of Health alleging that the cease and desist is a violation of the First Amendment. And by encouraging the passage of laws requiring that only registered dietitians can dispense nutritional advice, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics is threatening your freedom of choice and whom you consult for nutrition and dietary advice. Remember, many of the dietitians today are sponsored by food companies like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Mars, and Kellogg.
Yeah, so the girl was living in California. Her name is Heather, and she made a living as a holistic health coach, and she founded Constitution Nutrition in 2014. Her husband was in the services and I think the Navy, and he was stationed at Fort Walton Beach, Florida, so they moved there.
Yeah,
And-
so she was in California where where it's more freedom. There's no law licensing in California to provide dietary counseling. And so she moved to Florida. There's actually a law that says a right to health coach. It's very disturbing. That's why so many of us are very flustered with this.
Yeah, so what I do in my practice, of course, is I tell people what I do, and I tell them to do some research. And we can talk about this on the show here because we're a news organization, and we're giving you things that are in the news. So this is kind of how we get around.
And this is exactly what
talking about-
happens. So, she moves to Florida. She's continuing on offering healthful information. So many people today are working, are working online. And so, geographic borders are really blurred in the global world. And she got a client posing as Pat Smith, a prospective client. It turned out this Pat Smith was actually an undercover agent with the Florida Department of Health, who later showed up at her door with a cease and desist letter and a fine. And, so...
Well, it's not only the $754 fine, if that's what the amount is. Also, after the first one, you get more fines. There's $1,000 for each offense. So this can add up if she has to go get licensed. But the problem with getting a license in Florida, now you have to adhere what the Dietary Commission says. And we know this is the low-fat regime. So
yeah.
I mean,
So we really need to fight this.
problem.
Quite frankly, Florida had actually kind of loosened their stance on it. There's this thing that shows you whether you're a green or a red or an orange state, and we had gone from red to orange, but this may very well be a sign that the registered dietitians are pushing a little harder, because it says she had this. Health coach has not given up yet, and so with the help of a law firm for liberty and advocates for First Amendment rights, she filed a lawsuit against the Florida Department of Health in a First Amendment lawsuit. And this was just in October of 2017. She joined with the Institute for Justice and filed this lawsuit to strike down Florida's unconstitutional restrictions on who can give safe dietary advice that customers want to buy. And together, Heather and this group will vindicate her right and the rights of all Floridians to offer nutritional advice and health coaching without the fear of being prosecuted or shut down by the government.
Yes, and this reminds me of that guy was the I believe, the caveman blogger in North Carolina, I think it was, and he did the same thing. He got fined, but he went to court, and he did win his case in North Carolina. So, you know, it's really important, folks, to get the news out here. I mean, we need to have freedom to discuss what we want about nutrition. That's my view on it. And if I'm counseling somebody, I sure would love to give them the right advice. And if we are restricted from doing that, you know, that's not good.
Well, exactly, and I think this is why I operate in a different jurisdiction, and I think this is real important that we speak up, let our people know we want to choose where we get our information on health.
We'll be right back.
You don't buy into that nonsense, do you? You know you can't time the markets. I didn't. And in 2006, I set out on a mission to do just that. I began by surrounding myself with the greats like Tom O'Brien, Larry Pesavento, David White, and Basil Chapman. I read countless books and even looked to the moon and planets for answers. Now, we both know that trading is 80% mental. So I learned the exact tools that Tony Robbins uses to overcome fear. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability. And last March, the folks at Timers Digest began tracking my newsletter signals, which through January 18, 2018, placed me as the #1 gold timer for that exact time frame. Now, I can't officially be recognized until Timers Digest has a full year of signals, but clearly I've learned how to time the markets, and I'd like to teach you how to do that as well. Subscribers to Mastering Probability gain access to my live and archive workshops where I show you the exact same patterns that earn me this #1 ranking. If you're looking for great market calls and an education, sign up for Mastering Probability today at TFNN.com.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
No matter where you're listening to TFNN programming, you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones, iPads, and Android devices, located in the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and call-in talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Welcome back. So what are we going to talk about now, Mr.
Well, I
Nico?
found this interesting article here about making food out of electricity. Let me bring it up here. A batch of single-cell protein has been produced by using electricity and carbon dioxide in a joint study by the University of Technology in Finland. Protein produced in this way can be further developed for use as food and animal feed. This method releases food production from restrictions related to the environment. The protein that can be reproduced anywhere renewable energy such as solar is available. So in practice, all raw materials are available from the air. In the future, the technology can be transported to, for instance, deserts and other areas facing famine. We don't know, of course, the nutritional breakdown of this stuff, but making it out of air or making it with electricity, certainly there's energy being used there. They're bypassing the soil,
Well, I'm going to just go so far as to say the reason we eat food is for the frequency. Food is just a vehicle for frequencies. It is a vehicle for light.
Mm-hmm.
So light and electricity. So it's actually kind of coming around. It makes a little bit of sense. I mean, maybe not as pleasant, as eating food. Food's a pleasant delivery.
Well, I think this
for the light.
research, too, is good maybe for going to Mars and things like that, where you can't grow things in a small
You
spaceship
think we're really going to go to Mars?
I have no clue.
I don't even think we went to the moon.
That's
I listened
possible,
to that
too.
this morning, too.
Compared to traditional agriculture, the production method currently under development does not require a location with the conditions for agriculture, such as the right temperature, humidity, and certain soil types. This allows us to use a completely automized process to produce animal feed required in a shipping container facility built on a farm. The method requires no pest control substances. That's great. Only the requirement is fertilizer, like nutrients, is used in the closing process. So at the end, they're using some nutrition there, which is good. We'll see what happens. I think my suggestion always is go the natural way. One thing I did want to bring up is that I think the Chapman Wave is coming on after us, and then it's going to be rebroadcast at noon, so I did want to get that in. Also, check out our Taggle Den open house. From now until the end of the month, you can get details on the front of the TFNN page. So
that's
stick
right.
around.
So you can check out the den, because it's
That's
a
right.
pretty active happening place over here. We get a lot of comments, and thanks, Matt, for your comments.
And if you're into the financial regime and want to further that, you need to get into the chat room, and this is one way of trying it out for a couple of weeks and seeing if you like it. So anyway, this tendency to find different ways of making food.
It may be an important thing.
It may be an important thing for survival, for nutrition, maybe not so much, but we don't have the answers of that yet. Right now, my concern is being healthy today, and I think I can get that from living animals and some vegetation.
And some
not
sunlight
programs,
and some
sunlight.
magnetism from the earth.
And doing away with things like your electricity as much as possible. And
The dirty electricity.
The dirty electricity. I don't know where the clean stuff is, but
Well, from the sun.
that would be it.
The
You're
sun
right.
and the earth, and that's why we got to take our shoes off. And it's like with my daughter yesterday and my grandbabies, and it's so they love to buy all their cute shoes, because they can run to Target and buy all these cute shoes. And my grandkids always look like to the nines, but I'm like, take those shoes off. Let those
That's right.
Let those little feet touch the ground.
That's right.
And
Let them crawl for as long as possible. Crawling is the instinct of crawling is what develops our brain. So people that have neurological problems, they take them back to the ground and learn to crawl again.
They've got all fours down on the ground. And where are our cell receptors for our electricity? These are the most...
The palms of the hands?
The palms of the hands and the palms of the feet are your most... That's why in my bidigital O-ring testing, we use... This is where we are most electromagnetic.
That's why touching is such a cool thing.
That's right.
Thanks for sticking around, folks. We'll see you on the next show.
Have a great rest of your week.
Bye-bye.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
You're watching Tiger TV.